Goodness, I'm a mess. Hello, everyone. All right, I'm going to mute my phone and get onto my live so I can see if
Are we
anybody.
live now?
Um, yes, we maybe no. It's still
No.
saying that it's live in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But I did click, go live. So maybe it's gonna wait the 2 minutes. Um, but yeah.
Chat up on YouTube here.
Yep. Yep. There we go.
Channel are you going off of?
I'm
All
on
right.
Yarn Therapy with Ruth.
All right. Hello and welcome to Yarn Therapy with Ruth and Crochet Sunflowers, Heidi D.
Hello. Hello.
I have been trying all day to film an introduction to reclaiming yarn from sweaters, and it's so weird. I can't keep my thoughts sorted because there's so many different questions that could be asked, and I don't know which ones are going to be like, okay, well, yeah, that's like no brainer. I already knew that, or just some of the things that can pop up,
It sounds like litter box.
because you, Heidi, and Shell have both texted me. Well, at least I know Michelle has, when she was out, like at Goodwill, and was like, "Hey, you know, there's a sweater here, and I don't know if it's a good buy." And so like that has been like the best motivation for me to get started on doing the video, because I'm a terrible procrastinator. You know how it goes. So like, it has been a huge help. I already told Michelle that this morning, that y'all telling me, hey, this is cool, yes, this is something that I would like to know, has has helped me out a lot. So anyway, so this doesn't ramble on forever and ever. First of all, when you are looking at the various stores, and the various stores are, I mean, any place where you get cheap used clothes, you flea markets, you got those around you, I'm assuming. You got your Goodwills, your Salvation Armies, I don't know, rummage sales, garage sales, free pickups on Facebook or whatever, that sort of stuff. And then here, where I am in Conway, Arkansas, I have two really good Goodwills in town, and two bargain bin places. One that sells a lot of clothes, and the other one that has just started selling some clothes. So I'm excited to look at that on Wednesday, because with those bargain bins, if you have any of those around you, or Friday they start with the most expensive price for the bin items, and then it goes down every day, and then Wednesday everything that's left is $1. And then they're closed Thursday, and then they restock for Friday. And you can, they advertise the crazy things, like you could find an iPhone for, $15 or whatever, kind of deals. And I mean, and that's a whole nother video, trying to shop for deals on those days. But I just go on the dollar day, because all the stuff is left that nobody, thought was useful. I found all sorts of little treasures dug down deep, like the little necklaces with the gemstones, crochet kits, the crochet hooks and whatnot. And a nice, crochet hook for $1 is nothing to sneeze at. I found two small skeins of 100% merino wool yarn in different colors at different times, just like, $7-8 little skeins of, merino wool in the bargain bins. But yeah, I I only do, like I said, the dollar bargains because look for cotton and acrylic mostly.
Okay.
And you don't want to be spending a lot of money on an acrylic sweater when you can get, I mean, I think Big Twist at Joann's has their value yarn is sometimes like 2 something, right?
Yeah, it's on sale now for 2 for $5.
Yeah. So like, you have to, you know, you have to weigh the difference, because
Right.
like this is, yes, it is saving some stuff from the dumpster and whatnot, but you also have to be practical, if I can even talk.
Right.
Um, you got to think about all the time that it takes to take these apart, which it does take a lot of time. Um, and just, is it going to be worth that time? Cotton is usually almost always worth it because cotton yarn is expensive.
Yes.
And you can get a lot of yarn out of an extra large St. John's Bay turtleneck sweater. Like, those are the good finds. They're just the basic sweaters with the turtleneck. Because then it's literally like 5 pieces on the sweater. It's the front panel, the back panel, the sleeves, and the turtleneck.
Okay.
You take those apart and you've got tons of yarn for, maybe $1.50 or whatever. So after you look at the price, then you look at the tag. This is one I got at the bargain bin. This is an acrylic sweater. It's just a nice basic turtleneck. The more boring, the better. Um, it's still brand new. And this is one of those brands that I think is like they sell on Amazon, because I've gotten a lot of nice acrylic yarn out of this weird brand. And it's a size medium, which is okay. I mean, but it's a huge medium. There's a lot of yarn here. Your smalls and extra smalls are, not going to get you very much. Where's that other one that I had over here? If I can find my stuffs. This one is a bit smaller, but look at that color.
That's beautiful.
And it's so soft. These like cheap acrylic sweaters that Amazon sells, like there's not even, this one doesn't even have a brand name on it. It just literally has the size, and then it's a large actually, and then at the bottom, down here you'll see where the fiber content is. It's usually down at the the bottom of the sweater on the right side, but it's not even a brand name. There's some numbers. And
Okay.
then it says, 100%, if I can even get it. Yeah, where does it say? Yeah, maybe there you go, 100% polyester. Because when you look at the tag for the fiber contents, you do not want to see spandex, nylon, elasticine, any of those, because that will have to be pulled out as you're winding up the yarn, and it gets tangled up. It's just, that little thin piece of elastic to give the garment some stretch. That's a pain in the butt.
So no spandex,
Yeah,
no
spandex, elasticine, or elastic, nylon. And sometimes, like with you can sort of pull it apart and you can see. This is one that I did not actually spend any money on because I would not have really picked it out for $1 anyway. But I was like, fill a huge bag for $10, and so I just threw it in there. And if you can, I don't know if you can see.
I can see it.
But
just
in
sitting so
between
far from
this,
my screen.
yeah, in between the one strand, there's this fuzzy stuff,
Okay.
and that's your elastic nylon. And this one was weird because the tag didn't even say it. Like, it just said polyester.
So that's the nuisance.
Yes, and it is a huge nuisance. And for something like this that's just polyester and it's really thin, you don't want to bother with it. It's such a pain. And I mean, and this is so small. Like, it's literally just these 2 panels. It's like 2 square panels that were chain stitched together. You'd probably end up with a cake like this.
Okay.
You know, because that's what you have to, like, you can unravel these thinner sweaters, but you're not going to get as much yarn. And so, you know, like if this was 100% wool or silk or cashmere, then yes, polyester with elastic in it. Now, what I might do is take these and sew them back together and stuff them and make a pillow for the cat or something, or just turn it back into stuffing. Um,
Don't.
After you double check your fiber content,
Don't do that.
See, there's the Goodwill tag. It was green, was the dollar tag. And I'm so mad at myself, but I guess this is good because, you know, I have something to show on what not to get. Because the other thing you want to look at as soon as you make sure there's no elastic in it is to look at how the seams are joined. And you do not want to see a bunch of serged edges, because that means that they just knit big panels and chopped them up like fabric and then, you know, serge them together. You see when it's all like, you know.
So avoid that.
Yeah, because that means that wherever it's been serged, it's been cut.
Okay.
The only place that having it serged is okay and it's not going to affect the yarn is if it's the seam right here on the shoulders. They'll do that a lot to reinforce it. But
Okay.
because the panel is, you know, knitted from the top down, like you're not going to lose that much, you know. But if it's serged on the sides, or if it's because the other thing you have to look for, if it's an open cardigan like this, is you have to check the front panel to make sure that they didn't just knit a big front panel, just cut it down the middle, and then serge the edges and put the, you know, put the trim on it, which is what they did here.
Okay.
And yeah, and like I said, I don't know what I was thinking when I grabbed this, because there's not even a whole lot of yarn on this. This is not worth $1. You know, it's acrylic. I was like, I think I was in just a daze. I was just grabbing everything that had a green tag. So, but hey, now I have something to show you on what not to do.
And you have something to wear.
Yeah. Well, no, because it's way too small. That thing is going straight into stuffing. This one, like something like this, is not going to give you a lot of yarn. Wait, where am I? There we go. Something like this is not going to give you a whole lot of yarn, but it was nice and soft. And I saw from this where it was pulled out that it was chain stitched. At least I think it was. No, it's just loosely plied, but it just, I could tell from where it was pulled out that there was no elastic in it. And plus I figured with it being pulled out, they would probably trash it at the bargain bin place. So, you know, and I love these neutral colors anyway. I got this to support the local bargain bin, you know, and also to have some yarn to take apart, because this is, you know, normally it's not really worth it. Maybe it was on a day when all the clothes was like 50 cents because they're trying to get rid of them, because, you know, they'll do that too. All right, next thing. You want to take your sleeve. You always want to start with the sleeves when you take them apart. And this is what you want to see is sort of nice, smooth, you know, knit edges that have been chain stitched together. And the chain will be on, it's usually on, let me see, if it's facing you, it's usually on the right side.
Okay.
And it's harder to see on these darker fabrics, but there's a little chain going up right here. And for these darker ones where it's harder to see, you can just literally start, you know, pulling it apart. You see where this, where the two pieces are sewn or stitched together, you can just literally start stretching it apart and you'll see all those stitches that join it.
Okay.
And then you could just cut right up through that to get started, and then, you know, find your end and then just start, you know, ripping it out. Because that is, you know, the chain stitches are what you're looking for. And the easiest one to find, the most straightforward one, is always on the end of the cuffs. And then that will like open up the whole garment, because usually it goes all the way down and opens up this whole side here.
Okay.
And then this one's got this little doohickey, so that will pop off. I couldn't find the belt. I'm sure there was a nice little knit belt that went with it, but it was long gone. Yeah, and then do your other sleeve. Like I said, this one is a very basic construction where it's got the cowl, the front and the back piece. You know, so when you take apart a sweater, you'll have at least 4 panels. You may have more.
Okay.
And, you know, yeah. And like, and you can see when you turn this out, you always want to look when you're starting, you want to look for these little things, because this is how they secure the chain stitch, is that they just chain it up a bit and just sort of knot it. And then if you cut that off, you know, sometimes it will just start to unravel on its own, which is fun. But yeah, that's and then I always detach, I, you know, use the seam ripper and take both of the tags off, and then I will secure them with a bit of the string, with a bit of the yarn. Like this is one that I did, the white yarn. This is, I'm filming a tutorial on this one. And I just took a little bit of the yarn from the seams and then tied it around the tag. So now it's like my ball band. Okay. And I'll attach this or just stick it on top of one of the cakes of yarn. So I know if I'm working with 100% acrylic or a blend or, you know, and I have quite the collection of these little snippets of yarn with the little tags collected already, and a bunch of yarn, just a bunch. But yeah, that's about it for what to look for. Do you have any questions, comments, suggestions? No, you're good. You're good. Let me go get some yarn, some of the yarn that I made, because, you know, reasons. Okay. Okay, for all y'all millions of people out there watching, this is what I'm talking about. All of this yarn, and it's just acrylic yarn, came from one cardigan, and I have 2 more just like this that I still need to deconstruct. And it is a gorgeous, like, pumpkin orange, like, absolutely gorgeous.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I was just showing off these 4. I'll show you again.
The mailman scared the dog.
Oh no!
He needed a signature.
Do you see this gorgeousness? All these pumpkins.
Is that from one sweater?
Yes, it's a 1X sweater. And I got 3 of them.
Okay.
This was at the bargain bin in Illinois when I was visiting my family. And, you know, and it was Dollar Day. I think it's from whatever brand that is. And they had 3 of them. And it's just 100% acrylic. And it is a mix of, because that's another thing you got to look for when you're winding them up together, is that depending on if it's like the trim or the cuffs or the collar or the panels, it may be different thicknesses. Because like this is all from.
Is that a 1 weight?
Yeah, this is all from, well, it's like a lace weight. It's like not even. Okay. I mean, it's like a string. You
right.
know, I can't.
But you can double that up. Well,
yeah, that's the great thing about this, is that I could double it up or add it to another color. Like that's what I did with the cotton yarn from the star blanket.
Okay.
You know, it's just while you're winding up together, wind up all the same plies together, and then you can have options as far as mixing them up, because most of it, these other 3 cakes have 2.
Okay.
If you can
Yeah,
see
I see
that.
that. Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, and like I'm doing the tutorial, I'm going to show exactly how to find the chain stitches and stitch them apart. But once you have your panels and you've got them started to where they're unraveling, you just take that end, hook it up to your ball winder, and then start spinning. And you may want to pull out some and then spin it, because you want to keep a really tight tension on the yarn winder. You want to wind it really tight, because that will stretch out and straighten out some of these curly cues, you know, and keep it from turning into a tangled mess, because this curly stuff will tangle very, very badly. And there's other issues that you can run into where it's like two threads running, but at in different directions at different times. And so you'll kind of have to pull those out, either wind them separately, like one on the ball winder and one on like a toilet paper roll, or just keep pulling it out, give yourself some slack, and then just wind it up together, and then just keep pulling out a little bit more, you know, to keep it from getting tangled, and then wind it up a little bit more. It just depends on how easy it is to do. So, but yeah, that's yeah, I'm super excited about this. The thing that I cannot find in sweaters is like the bright colors, you know, which has made it hard for Boggy, because
Yeah.
you know, especially cotton doesn't have a whole lot in the bright colors. Oh, speaking of cotton, that reminds me of another thing that you should look out for and not do. Although I did it because I love the colors so much. Look at this gorgeous pink.
Ooh.
But you see all those stripes? Every
Yep.
single one of those is a different, you know, is going to be a break in the yarn. So down here in the middle, you're going to have a lot of little balls of different color yarn. But I love the color so much, because you can't really find this. And it's 100% cotton.
Okay.
So when I have the right project in mind for this, I'm going to take this apart and put all the correct colors together, or leave it apart. And, you know, because like the little I mean, they're literally little bobbins. You could use them for color work. That's what, you know, it is not going to go to waste.
Right.
But you may not want to spend a lot of money on this, you know, because it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah.
So for me, it was worth it. For this, you know, it may not be. And yeah, this is a Liz Claiborne petite 100% cotton. But yeah, I love the color, and I knew that I would use at least, you know, this solid pink. So, but yeah, that's about that.
I gotta mute a second. I gotta figure out
No,
what
you
this child's doing.
Yeah, I think that is about it, unless if someone has a question, comment, suggestion, you can put it in the chat now or afterwards.
Just wait until your child reaches a teenager. Boys are different. He's cleaning the stove, and I told him to clean it, but he's in there with, it's a gas stove with all the burners going, playing with it. How are you going to clean it if it's hot?
Boys.
He's 15.
Less drama than girls, harder to keep alive.
Right?
I have one of those, and he's only 6. He has very little sense of danger.
I asked him what he was doing. He just turns around and smiles at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Playing with fire, Ma.
Turkey. But yeah, I am filming the videos taking this sweater apart. See this one, this panel I have ready to be wound up. I just sort of double it up and wind up the loose end so it doesn't get all tangled. You know, because the white showed up really good on camera, on my phone. So I'm doing that. It's going to be some long videos, but you know, I tried to get all the relevant information to the front of the video so that you could just put it on mute afterwards if you just wanted to watch a bunch of picking at yarn, or just exit it out completely, you know, because some people like those long form, you know, just ASMR type ridiculousness or wonderfulness. But you know, I tried to make it so, you know, you didn't have to watch the whole ridiculous thing to get the information that you needed. So, but does that help you
Yes.
know what to do?
Now I know what to look for when I go. And I ain't got to be going there going, man.
Yeah.
Wish I knew what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
One of them.
But yeah. And now whenever I look at clothes, like for myself, I always look at it as a dual purpose, you know, of like, you know, okay, I can wear this now. And then when it's done, it can be fabric. Like this dress I just found at the Goodwill for $1. And it's like 100% rayon, like that really nice silky bamboo
really
fabric. I know it's really pretty and it fits. But even if it didn't fit, I was like, it's either going to be wearable or it's going to be immediately fabric, or it's going to be wearable and then fabric later. So either way, you know, you can be all, you know, eco-friendly and whatever, or just frugal, extremely frugal. So, but yeah. Okay, good.
I appreciate the video.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you coming on with me. It was so hard. I've tried over and over again to film the introduction, and either something happens where the recording stops. One time it didn't record at all. I had just taken a picture. And that was when I stopped and was like, okay, I'm gonna get a snack and rip up some fabric, you know, to not have to think about this for a minute. But this, you know, I never know if it's clear.
Right.
You know, so yeah. I do have some wool, but I have not even tried to take those apart yet because I don't have a lot of it. And those are tricky because the wool will felt together naturally. And so you have to use like one of your tiny little silver crochet hooks and tear out the felted bits. Sometimes if you find, you know, really super thin, you know, machine knit cashmere or wool, you can just use that basically as fabric and cut yourself out a little stuffed animal or a headband. Like I've seen some people do that where they take, you know, garments with holes, wool and whatnot, and, you know, cut out and then felt it all together and make these beautiful creations. I can't remember what the link was, but her work was amazing. So, you know, but that's a whole nother phase. I happened to come across a lot of acrylic and cotton, and I love cotton because it just feels amazing.
It does.
So, and it was a way to make a very large cotton blanket for my sister as a wedding gift without spending a whole lot of money, because I made her a queen sized waffle stitch quilt.
Oh, nice.
Out of, I'll have to show y'all a picture at some point.
Yeah.
Because the middle bit was about 6 of those Karen cotton cakes that my friend gave me, because she's like, okay, this is my contribution to your sister's wedding, you know, and her gift. And that made just like I don't know, a square. It wasn't very big because I ran the two of them together, to 2 3s together to make like a thick 4.
Okay.
Weight. And then after that, I had to start shopping for cotton. And it just happened to be like right there, right after Christmas, when everybody was trying to get rid of their sweaters. And I got a bunch. And I got a bunch of stuff that I couldn't use. Um, like I found this one beautiful green sweater, is gorgeous. Took it home. Every single piece had been cut and serged together like it was fabric. And I still have it because I've used it on like small projects like amigurumi, or if I just need a little bit of color here and there.
Yeah.
But it is just, it's all long
So
strands.
those serged ones, though, those could be used in the amigurumi if you only need little bits.
Exactly. So it just depends on what it's worth to you. If it's a huge sweater and you're going to get that much thread or, bigger, then it's worth it. And especially for color work, like if you're doing a tapestry type thing where you need to have multiples of that color going at the same time, a lot of times you have to take your whole skein and cut it up so you can do that. But this is already cut up,
Okay.
I wouldn't do that because like you're going to find a lot of black cotton. There's lots of black cotton sweaters. Red, I have found a lot of red cotton that you'll find plentiful. You don't need to worry, about getting the ones that are going to be really hard to take apart. One thing I cannot find, and I don't know if it's just because nobody likes it, but yellow sweaters, yellow cotton. Nobody seems to like that. So, but I have a lot of off-white, cream, brown, bunch of red, it just all depends.
Okay.
My main source for cotton yarn has been these men's Amazon essential sweaters from the bargain bin because they get the Amazon pallets.
Okay.
You can see that it's got some stains on it on the front a little bit. Probably fell on the floor and someone stepped on it, but it's still got the tag on it.
Right.
And it's 100% cotton and this beautiful like heathered light blue. So this will be fun. I've taken apart a couple of these and they're like the easiest thing in the world. It's just the collar.
Is it a brand name?
It's Amazon Essentials brand.
Oh, okay.
It's made in Bangladesh. And like it, because I've noticed all of the men's sweaters are always 100% cotton and women's are usually not, but then you have the issue of there's not a lot of men's clothes at the Goodwill. And so I'm always careful when looking for like, especially the cotton dress shirts for fabric. I try and get the ones that are definitely well worn and are probably overlooked because they have stains or faded or torn or whatever, because you could get some of those really nice, like 3X size men's dress shirts at Goodwill for $1 that are like brand new.
Yeah.
But I just personally, I don't do that because like it's still wearable, and Goodwill will take those things and send them to another Goodwill to try and sell it. Or I think they do textile recycling. I know they do e-waste, like electronics recycling, because they keep advertising, say, bring in your electronics, even if they're broken, So I think they do some textile recycling and then they send some stuff overseas. Maybe that's what they do with the textile recycling, or they just send clothes overseas to some. I don't know. This is just from a conversation with an employee. Your mileage may vary, so it's just, unless it's for men's clothes, unless it's super worn and it's like, it would not look good in a job interview, then I just sit over. Women's fashion stuff, I don't care. It's dime a dozen. Get whatever you want, so yeah.
Okay.
And that's about that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go look in when I go to Goodwill again.
Yay. Post pictures of your finds or do a live or something,
We
I
have
want to do a live walkthrough on Wednesday when I go to my local bargain bin place, and I'll put, their links and everything.
when you do the live walkthroughs, do you have to ask permission first?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. Because like you're going to, and I would just be really careful because I'd be on my phone and I'm just going to be showing like the stuff in the bins. But I already talked to the owner because he has a YouTube account too. He puts blogs up. They have a Facebook page. They have an eBay page where they sell a lot of the higher ticket items that are smaller. So I can link that because anybody could shop from that one. Like it's a really cool little local business, and I want to go around in there. And that will be Wednesday. So it'll either be a recorded video or a live. Because I'll be able to go without Max since he's at school. Yeah.
Well, I have to do some when I get out again and go there.
Yes.
We got full. Well, I think we have a couple other little secondhand shops. I don't know. I haven't looked, but there's 4 places I go to with my sisters, or Rob. Rob loves thrift stores. Goodwill. We have a secondhand impressions. St. Vincent de Paul and Salvation Army.
Yep. All those are good, and like the sort of junkier flea markets, not the really nice vintage ones, because those they're gonna have like actual really nice vintage sweaters that are they're just really nice, and they're gonna sell them for like $15-$20. You want the junk flea markets for upcycling purposes. I find all my yarn at Goodwill, Salvation Army, from sweaters. But like actual skeins of vintage yarn, or other stuff is all from secondhand. So, yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, I will let you go. Thank you for coming on with me. We're going to go check out Michelle.
Yeah, let's go take the bus over to her, rate her.
Yes, and feel free to all the millions of viewers out there, like, comment, subscribe to both channels, and all the good things. Yeah. All right. I will see you later.
We'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.